The last census tells us that the population of Calcutta is greater than any other town in India. If you were there for the SSC session, we looked at this. Hopefully, if you were there, I want you to recollect what is this. Again, because you're specifically talking about, you're addressing two components that are specific, which is, scientist and the musician. You have to have some sort of a determiner, and the determiner, obviously, we know is the article, right? So, without that, it just seems grammatically incorrect in form. At the same time, you're saying at the same time, no. That's also sounds very awkward. So, why is that so? I'm assuming most of you were there for the SSC session. So, all of you who said 3, why have you chosen 3? There is comparison happening in this context, obviously, right? The last census tells us that what is compared here? Population. Hai na? This is what is compared. The population of Calcutta is compared to the population of other towns in India. Hai na? So, in the context, right, obviously the population is taken as a singular entity. Remember, population is a collective noun. It can either take up singular or plural, whatever. Right, it depends on the author's intention. However, in the context, we are saying it's taken as a singular entity. The last census tells us that the population, we'll rely on the definite article the being specific, and we look at it as a singular entity here. So, population of Calcutta is greater than any other town in India. Than any other town in India, meaning population is not compared directly to any other town, right? The population of Calcutta is greater or is compared to the population of any other town. So, because I need something to represent this, to make it clear and not confusing, I say is greater than that of. That of meaning the population of any other town in India. Okay? That is why it is option 3. So, that of is representing population, because that's the comparison. So, the last census tells us that the population of Calcutta is greater than that of, meaning greater than the population of any other town in India. So, these are called dangling modifiers. We need to break down the sentence and see, especially when there is comparison involved, we need to make sure to see if the meaning is clear and complete. That is why usually this is another very basic type of an error that you will find with respect to comparisons, right? That of will be missing. You'll just have to figure out what is compared in the context. Hai na? Yeah. The first one, sentence improvement. So let's look at the question. Let's read the directions. In the following questions, the sentence has been given with some of its part in bold. So we know that. I think what's missing is the one that has to be highlighted. So let me just highlight that. It's bit in, going for. That's the highlighted phrase. But if you look at the context, right? Going with, going against, go by, going after. What are all these? Bit in, going for is the highlighted phrase. So if you look at all these options, what is this? So everybody is sticking to part D. But so what is common? What are these called? Go with, go against, go by, go after. What is it called? Do you know the concept? Okay, let's go back to the direction. So you have to replace the bold part with the correct alternative given below. If the sentence is correct as it is, give 5 as your answer. No correction required. So it's not idioms, it's phrasal verbs, which means we all know what phrasal verbs are, right? Verb plus preposition or an adverb combination, right? Now quickly, let's quickly look at all these phrasal verbs just to make sure we have the right phrasal verb that is needed in the context. So Anand, now that you have an idea about the context, what do you think is the answer? Do you think we have to replace bit in, going for? Yeah? So everybody got back, said phrasal verbs, fine. So what is to go for something, right? If I for example, if I say, Viji, go for it, which means what? We're going to look at the phrasal verb that is in the context, right? To go for, right? Go for it, Viji, which means what? I'm actually encouraging Viji to do something. So maybe Viji wants to take an initiative, or she wants to take a challenge, right? And I'm saying, yes, you should do that. Go for it. Yeah. So is that the right phrasal verb that we need given the context? Go for. right? Please understand one phrasal verb can have different meanings in different contexts, right? Go for can also mean what? So can you guys give me some example sentences or meaning of, we're looking at each phrasal verb just to rule out the incorrect or the wrong ones, right? Go for a walk. Yeah, let me go for a walk. Going for a walk, just doing something. Okay, fine. Go for a tea. No, you go to have tea, right? You can't use that. It's an incorrect phrasal verb in that context. Go for a drive, yes. So go for a drive, yes. Yeah, so you understand. So none of those meanings fit in the context. So we understand that the one highlighted in the context is incorrect. So we'll have to rule that out. We have to definitely change that. Go with. What about go with? So other examples which you gave, let me put that down. Go for a drive, go for a walk. Okay. What about go with? Let's say a fair amount of stress seems to go with bank exams, right? So students automatically get stressed, yeah, to go with the flow. In fact, this would be an idiomatic phrase. To go with the flow means just agree to whatever is happening, right? If something is going well, don't complain or don't do something against it. Just go with the flow. So let's say for example, Bala is asking, hey, you know what? I bought a new suit. Does this shoe go with the suit? Right? I'm just giving you an example, which means is it complementing my suit? Right? Does the dress and the shoe match? Right? That's another meaning. Yeah. So we understand that go with also is not the right context, so we eliminate option A. What about go against? We know this, it's not very difficult. To go against something means you're opposing someone or something, right? Obviously. So let's say somebody shares with you a particular, their opinion, and they say, you know, I think this is the way to go. And then you're saying, no, this completely goes against what I believe in, right? Which means you're opposing what that person is saying. So to go against is to oppose. Let's go with what we have right now, yeah? So here, we don't need the meaning of opposing anybody, right? Just to put down a context. Everything I believe in. So obviously this is also incorrect. To go by. What's the meaning of go by? Can you give me some phrasal verbs or a context with go by? Okay, never go against our values. What about go by? Can you give me some context with go by? So that's one context in which you can use going by. Or time goes by. Or the week went by. To follow, go by the stream, go by bus. Okay, fine. We're looking at phrasal verbs, go by moral values, okay? So, just to put this again in context, yeah, going by what Gaurav said, which is the right phrasal verb. Yeah, things will get easier as time goes by. Yeah, that's another context, right? So, having said this, we know that this is not the meaning that the context is conveying. So, the only thing that we're left with is going after, right? So, what is the meaning of going after? To go after something means to pursue something, you're trying to find a solution by kind of persistently, you know, either following it or doing something about that situation. And in the context, they're saying, hey, the situation is in our country is black money. So is the government doing something about it, right? So having said that, unlike earlier, no one can now complain the government is not doing its bit in going after black money. Going after means to trying to do something about it, right? To stop, to arrest this particular issue, which is the black money. So to go after, I'm just going to put it here. So our answer is option D, like most of you came back and said, right? So to go after something means yes, to look into it, right? To try to stop either someone or something. It can be anything, either, right? In our context, it's the black money, which is a something. Always go after excellence and not success. So that leaves us with our answer. So the idea is, as long as you understand the concept, right? As soon as you look at the question, you should be able to identify, okay, the concept is phrasal verbs, and given the context, meaning the context is conveying, and then it will be easier for you to decide the phrasal verb. And I'm assuming these are very simple phrasal verbs, it's not very complicated, right? to go with, to go against, to go by. If you can associate sentences that you already know, context that you're already familiar with these phrasal verbs, it will be easy for you to identify the answer. So this one was, except for 1 or 2 people who came back and gave the wrong answer, most of you got it right. I'm assuming you took the test, so you know the answer.